Hey everybody, Dauntless here, and welcome back to another episode of The Last Express. I just realized I have a lot more time today than I normally do, although I expect my dog to bark because I think the mail's about to come. So as I said, in this episode, we're going to take a look at this egg. And... So... this is the one from the story. For some reason, Kronos really likes this. Maybe it's just his thing with his artifacts and stuff. But I used to have this memorized. Anybody else think it looks like a map? I just realized that. I guess I never noticed before, but it is a map. And they're coming out in groups here. That was a good idea. Let's just stick our finger in there. That is some impressive technology. Remember what I said about that being one hell of a piece of technology? Yeah. Holy crap. So I've got the egg.
Pardon me?
Excusez-moi, madame.
But I ain't gonna leave it
Bonjour, monsieur.
anywhere so that somebody could find it. There is one other point that they forgot that, again, I totally missed. Also, you'll notice that what's-her-name, Kahina, is roaming the aisles. She mentioned she does not like the dog at all. She's pretty sure if she goes anywhere near that thing, it'll kill her. I wouldn't mind that, but, you know. But it does give me a good idea as to where to stow this thing. Okay, Alexei is out of his apartment, so let's see if I can... Let's see if I can check out his place. I can carry this thing around, thankfully. They aren't gonna... Oh wait, I can't use my key while I'm holding this thing. I gotta get rid of it.
Bonjour, monsieur.
I think the concert goes on for a couple hours. There's a reason why I've said I'm saving stories for this thing. Man, that storm is still rolling on out there. So I gotta wait for the conductor to get out of my way. Because I'm not putting that thing in my room. I know I can lock the door, but there's always a chance that she'll get into another room and go between them or something like that. It's... yeah. And I don't want just anyone to have this thing. Because obviously, it's playing a huge part in whatever's going on here. Everybody wants this thing. That sounded good. Oh, poor Max. He's all upset. In the game. My Max is lying down, snoozing away. I want to do other things. There we go.
Amstetten, 5 minutes d'arrêt.
You don't notice me going right by you into the... Believe it or not, it took a while to figure this out. So if you put it back here, we'll just hide it back there. Now, we got that. Let's do some information gathering. So what we're going to do is we're going to check on Alexei's place and Herr Schmidt. Because Herr Schmidt is apparently selling... Sounds just like my dog.
Bonjour, monsieur.
There we go. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh! Here's... Oh, cool, I can still get it. Alright, Orient Express. He's got something marked 1040 between Galanta and Budapest. Let's see what else we got. That's odd. Well, he seems fine. Oh, there's the mailman. And now that he's walking away... Huh! He keeps himself armed with a very small little pistol. Little tiny thing, you could say. I can't look at his book there. What's in his trunk? Keep himself low.
My dear Baron, since you have asked me to put pen to paper only if absolutely necessary, it is with the utmost discretion that I write to inform you of a new development. Simply put, the agent in question, whom I shall not name, appears unable to pay the agreed upon sum.
Your leadership knows I am not motivated by... I can't understand half this. Again, this handwriting kills me every time. Although a humble businessman such as myself, who must today, night, blah blah, something, his, what do you say, is that children? Ill afford to give away that which we should sell. In other words, basically he's saying he's not going to give it away if,
I'm therefore compelled to cancel the transaction. I hope that you will consider that my decision was correct and that you will give me another chance to perform such a splendid service for our fatherland. Your loyal friend and servant, August Schmidt.
Alright. So he's planning on not going ahead with the whole deal. Which is why I need to show him that I have the gold, so we'll carry on with that. Because again, if I don't have the guns, the Serbians are going to probably kill me. So time to go figure out how to get to the gold.
They have already started, but please, go ahead.
So, what are we going to do? We're going to get into his cabin somehow. I like to say for the record that this was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole game, except for the ending. So this is the private car. And we were like, how are we going to get in there? We can't climb down. And then we went, we're going to do a Batman move. I'm glad nobody heard that. Alright, what do we got around here? Inquiry regarding M. Tyler Whitney, Agent M. Maurice. Understanding that Your Excellency is soon to depart from Paris, I've prepared this report in haste, and apologies for any shortcomings of which may result... Ooh, nice music in the background, by the way. From the speed with which it was prepared. In accordance with Your Excellency's instructions, I have initiated surveillance of M. Kath's domicile, as well as that of Mr. of M. Whitney. Attached are the promised dossiers on Whitney and Kath. Please bear in mind that these were assembled on short notice, and thus do not represent a thorough inquiry as per our instructions. My associate shall continue surveillance of M. Whitney until his planned departure on tonight's Orient Express. I shall then prepare a final report to be delivered by hand to Your Excellency's agent at Vienna tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Please accept, Monsieur, the assurance of my most respectful sentiments. Detective Maurice. Hold, please. Oh, nope. That was a different one. So he has Maurice after me. And Tyler. This is Whitney. The subject is staying at the Pension Malmaison. Blah, blah. The pension owned by the widow Fonse is known to the police as a local frequented by Serbian. So, he knows all this stuff because he's got spies everywhere. I entered the house and ascertained that the apartment belonged... Let's see. A few minutes later, the subject left and trusted my associate to follow M. Whitney. I entered the house and found out of M. Robert Cath, also an American, and that M. Cath has been away for some weeks. Concierge volunteered that she had never seen M. Whitney before, but as he claimed that he is an old friend of M. Cath, she allowed him to go upstairs. She added that in the past 2 days, many people had asked after M. Cath, including the police. A short walk around the block is sufficient for that the house is indeed under police surveillance. So this was taken after Cath got himself in trouble. Yeah, M. Cath is the one that's been followed around because of the murder of the police officer. Okay. At 8 a.m., a package was delivered to Whitney's hotel. It was a rolled-up document. My associate ascertained the courier had declared residence. Okay, so they already know where that guy lives. Ordered a carriage and was followed by associate to... A small crowd had formed in front of the apartment. M. Whitney that had been taken ill suddenly in the night. So whoever delivered this thing, was it the person who delivered him? Yep. It was sent, no, the courier, the sender was M. Capelli. So Capelli died for poisoning or something. He was met by a British gentleman of medium height, bald, thin, clean-shaven, wearing spectacles with a habit of touching his handkerchief to his perspiring forehead. Whitney and Mr. Perlmutter, for this was the gentleman's name, Perlmutter, remained in M. Whitney's room for over an hour at the conclusion. So, Perlmutter, let's take a quick check at something. Oh, that's the wrong paper. This is it. Nope. No, he's not on here. Right? Yeah, he's not on here. The British dude is not on here. I wonder what his name is. I wonder if he's the guy. Anyway, as we carry on reading through all this, left the hotel soon after. Through my connection, it has come to my attention that an unusual piece described as a Chinese egg, circa 1650, has in the past few days been shown to certain art dealers in Paris. Knowing of your Grace's interest in eggs of this period, I thought you might wish me to pursue the matter. The seller, Mr. Tyler Whitney, is an American gentleman who appears to be acting as agent for the true owner. I shall be traveling to Paris on tonight's steamer on another business. If your Grace wishes, I should be delighted to meet with Mr. Whitney and make inquiries regarding the egg. Awaiting your instructions, I remain most respectfully yours, Perlmutter. This is a letter. This is that cop that Whitney was talking to. So this guy, Kronos, sent out his spy and figured this stuff out at the same time as he was getting information from that police officer. His journey from Vienna was pleasant, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. This affair will not be fulfilled. Our hopes. I communicated with Mr. Whitney the extremely generous offer I informed him, without identifying your grace by name, that the buyer would arrive in Paris that evening and was prepared to deliver the entire sum in gold bullion upon receipt of the piece. So Whitney's been dealing with this for a while. I believe then, and still do believe, your offer to be sufficient in excess of the highest competing bid. In the view of this, Mr. Whitney's response was surprisingly guarded. When I asked to see the piece again, with the aim of answering the questions raised in your Grace's letter, he stated that for reasons of security he had removed it from the hotel. Was at that moment in the room with us. When I suggested we meet that night, Mr. rejected it immediately, claimed that there was not enough time for him to retrieve the egg from its place of safekeeping again. That's why he is simultaneously conducting negotiations with another party. So they started figuring out that Whitney was there was another deal going on. I don't know if they knew about the Serbians, but I don't think they knew quite yet, at least according to this paper. They didn't know that Whitney was selling the egg to Kronos to get gold to basically buy guns for Serbian terrorists. Well, freedom fighters, I guess you could say. I guess in this case they were freedom fighters. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say they're terrorists at this point. Indeed, Mr. Whitney's entire demeanor seemed to have undergone a transformation from the previous day. Now he was very nervous, smoking one cigarette after another. He pressed Mr. Whitney, objection on very trivial grounds at each of my proposals. He finally put forth his own, a meeting aboard the Orient Express, which is where he ended up, and somehow ended up dying. If there's any further service... Okay, so... now we have kind of a really good idea of how this all... Man, nice pictures, dude. Like, seriously, there's a big monkey, a bunch of naked dancing ladies, and then whatever. I don't know if that's supposed to be a sumo wrestler or a really kind of tubby lady. Yeesh. Apparently there's nothing here. Ah. Booyah! We got our gold. Alright. Now, unfortunately, there's a problem. I cannot jump through this roof. See, I put it down and he jumps up. It's too heavy. It's gold. In case you don't know, gold is really stinking heavy. And I like that they make sure to show that it is still down there. How do I get this? Well, quite simple. And I kid you not, when I pulled this stunt, me and my brother, my mom, all died laughing. His face is priceless! Just waltz through. Oh, she is unhappy, to say the least. His shoulders. Whew. All right, let's get out of here.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Quick, let's get out of here before. All right, now that I got the gold, I can hide it under the bed. And let me make sure I do this. Oh, I can't lock that crap. But there is something I can do. I go out. Lock that door. And...
Who is it?
Oh, you're here. Well, I guess that helps. I almost feel like I need to stand there and guard that thing. I don't know if she's gonna get it. If she gets it, I can still rewind, but still. Alright. I got 10 more minutes, and I literally have gotten everything I need. So we know about basically how it goes. And I will add background music by just sitting here waiting for this concert to finish.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Hi, guys! Hi. You know, you might remember me. Alright, and here's hoping that the sound isn't too loud in the game. Alright, so, Tyler Whitney apparently got this egg and decided he could sell it for a lot of money. And he was okay with that, but apparently somehow he ended up with the Serbian. He was already dealing with the Serbians and discovered he could use that money for gold. Something scared him, because I think he was already dealing with the Serbians trying to get the money to give to them so they could buy guns. But something else seems to have terrified him, because you may notice from the letter he was worried. He got terrified and was just had an obvious change of his personality. So he ended up setting up this whole thing on the train. Stay awake there, buddy. I'm not that boring! So he ends up setting this whole thing up, and for some reason he ends up getting murdered. Whatever he found out terrified him and ended up getting him killed. Now, there are, on the side of Herr Schmidt, he is sent, he's not just an industrialist, he is being sent by a baron, the baron, basically. Or somebody in high command. So it's not just him being a businessman to, you know, get this gold, it's something else. He's not just selling guns for the sake of selling it, there's somebody else involved. Meanwhile, on her, Anna Wolf's side, her government is involved too. She is an Austrian spy, basically, sent here to deal with this whole thing with guns being sold to Serbian nationalists, which kind of raises a... Please don't fall asleep.
Why don't we make it
Get up! Wake up! Wake up, buddy! There we go! Okay. So it seems like both the German and the Austrian governments are involved with this whole thing going down. This is also post-Sarajevo with Ferdinand being assassinated. So this is starting to heat up. The World War I is basically around the corner. So there is motivation to have him killed in several places. It could be her because of the arms deal going down. It could be Kronos, because you may remember he was going through a lot of effort to get this egg. If you think about all the different plot elements that are going on right now, there's a anarchist, the Russian anarchist Alexei Donyakov, which I want to check on, actually. I figure, why not?
Bonjour, monsieur. Pardon me?
Yeah, he's still in his room, isn't he?
Who is it?
Sorry, wrong door. Let's see what he's doing. So there's this guy, the Russian nationalist, and he's not really a nationalist, he's more of an anarchist. And then he happens to be on the same train as Count Obolinski and his granddaughter. Oh, I guess the concert's out. Really?
Bonjour, monsieur.
That did not last as long as I remember. There's Anna Wolf. Yep, the concert's over. That did not last as long as I thought it would. I didn't tell you my story yet. I'll get there.
Herr Schmidt?
Not here. Come to my compartment.
I will just greet everybody as they go through. Tatiana. I don't know why. I've always really liked Tatiana.
Tatiana?
She's really cute, and she always seems like this really nice, friendly person. Like, genuinely a really sweet person. She's like the only person on this train that doesn't either have a mental issue or a agenda. Well, I guess it's the family. And I like the kid. I kind of like Francis. He's cool. And his dad is kind of a really awesome, down-to-earth kind of guy. You know, to be honest, I like the British guy. You know, there's a lot of... I think the truth is, I like all the characters, but I think, you know, there's ones that I especially like, and it's like, you know... Tatiana, the British
Herr Schmidt?
spy...
Apartment.
The,
Conductor, would you unlock my compartment, please?
Of course, monsieur.
Tatiana, the
There you are, monsieur. Is everything
the British guy...
Fine, thank you.
And in case you're curious, it is starting to hit off a little to home that he's a little more than just a businessman. Okay, let's grab this and show it to good old Schmidt so he can keep the deal going. Hi. Don't look at the briefcase.
I guess this means His Excellency would like to see me.
You know, he really has a way of making people feel wanted. Is this how he persuaded Miss Wolf to join him in a duet?
You talk a great deal for a man who knows so little.
Have you never seen the movie?
Tell him I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Bonjour, madame.
Nobody noticed her pointing a gun at me?
Mr. Whitney, I was wondering if you would come.
Ah, yes, yes.
Not so fast, Herr Schmidt.
Knows he bit
Not
it.
in Belgrade yet.
Make sure it's real gold. Alright. Now, let's head this way. And return it back so I don't get killed because she's armed.
Disappointed. I would have gladly let you keep this gold. If only you had seen fit to bring me the other. It would have saved us so much time.
Maybe.
What is it you want, Mr. Whitney?
Tyler Whitney is dead. I want to know who killed him and why.
You are on your way to Jerusalem, are you not?
How did
He's
you know that?
avoiding the question.
Knowledge is more precious than gold and rarer than rubies. If knowledge is the coin in which you wish to be paid, I could tell you many things about yourself and that ring you wear, for example. But the question
Ring?
you ask, that question I cannot answer.
Then I'll be on my way.
Not yet. I'm afraid you owe me some slight favor for having helped yourself to my luggage. That scarf in his breast pocket. Get it, please.
Hey, wait a minute. I had that in my pants pocket.
Yes.
Wow, you're
Thank
creepy.
you, Mr. Connor. I shall keep it as a souvenir until our next encounter.
Let's hope there isn't a next encounter. Okie dokie, Smokey! Let's get out of here.
Doctor, would you lock my door, please?
Pardon me?
Bonjour, monsieur.
Me?
Dans une heure.
Uh-oh.
Excusez-moi.
Oh, Tatiana does not look happy.
Messieurs et mesdames les voyageurs,
Bonjour, monsieur.
le train arrivera à Vienne dans une heure.
Ja, wer ist da?
I'm sorry, Tatiana. I know I took the thing right out of your room.
Bonjour,
but-
monsieur.
What's wrong?
When I came back from the concert, the egg was gone.
Herr Schmidt.
Sir?
I thought it would be safe.
It was her that took the egg. So maybe she killed him and then took the egg while, you know...
People steal things.
Because it's mine! Well, it's my buddy's, but it's important. Alright! Well, there it is, everybody. There's episode 4. You may notice we are approaching Vienna. Big things are about to happen. This game really picks up right about now. In case you were kind of bored before, which I'm hoping you weren't, because I was enthralled throughout this entire game, and I'm hoping you get the same experience. This game is fantastic. I've always loved it so much. But since I was not able to be at the concert and I was roaming around and stuff, let me give you kind of the story I was going to say. I got this game when I was basically in the middle of a addition onto our house. This is back when I was living with my parents, and we had this addition going on because we had a family of 5. It wasn't a smaller place, but it was small enough, and it was, well, we were, shall we say, growing up, and it was just, it was not enough room. So we decided to make an addition on the house. Well, my parents did anyway. And we had this addition going on, and we were all really, really, really stressed out because this addition went on for months. The contractor was a moron, and nothing was ever getting done. Construction people were being construction people, and it was just torture. People weren't showing up for work, and it would just be like weeks later, and people would finally get something done. And it was just taking too long, and it didn't seem like anybody wanted to do anything. But anyway, what ended up happening, though, is we were all living in the living room, because the things that were getting added onto was my room and my parents' room. And so my brother and me, and I think my sister, were all living in the living room. And then my parents had taken over my sister's room, which was the only room that wasn't taken over already. Well, so we ended up basically just displaced and having very stressed out people for a while. And finally, my grandparents sent us a care package. It was a big box of toys and games and stuff like that. And this was one of the games they gave us. We started playing it, and holy moly, it was such a godsend. It was so nice to be able to play this because it took our mind off everything, and it took us a while to beat it. I'm making it look like it's pretty easy right now, but that's because I already know some of the stuff that's going on, and I've heard a lot of the conversations and things like that. I know kind of the important bits, you could say. So I know exactly what's going on, why it's happening, and where to be. I'm still missing stuff, but it's stuff that I can kind of tell you about without having to rewind the game every 5 seconds. Because if I kept doing that, you'd be like, oh god, come on, we have to watch through all this again. It kind of does that. It's one of the more annoying things of the game, but it's something that I can definitely, forgive, just because it also adds a ton of replayability, because if I wanted to, I could totally ignore all the conversations and see what happens. And things will happen differently as I go. But anyway, that's how I got this game. We ended up playing it like crazy. We beat it. It was so much fun. And then we had friends over. We wanted to show them. So after a while, again, it disappeared. The game vanished. After a while, it kind of died down because we had played it enough, purely to death actually after a while. And then it started resurfacing. It was showing up on different websites, GOG.com and things like that. And I think I had the original discs for a while, the CDs. But anyway, that's the story I wanted to talk about. And I could have talked about more, but I don't want to go on for like 5-6 minutes. I figured I'd put it at the end of the episode just so that I'm not sitting there talking while you're watching me try and play the game at the same time. And I was planning on talking about it while the concert was going, because back in the day, we would sit through that entire concert. We'd just sit there. I didn't go around and explore or anything. And so we were just sitting there. Oh boy, we're just listening to this concert. And the concert will go for literally the amount of time it took. It started at 3. It just got out at about 5 o'clock. So it's a 2-hour-long concert, and you will sit there and listen to that concert for about an hour or so after you get the gold, get the egg, and all that kind of stuff. So I was planning on using that hour to kind of talk about, how I got the game, different experiences in playing it and stuff like that. But anyway, that did not happen. I did not realize how fast time flies when you're out exploring and reading and stuff like that. But anyway, thanks again, everybody, for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you're liking this because I enjoyed it. Please hit the notifications icon down below. Subscribe, of course, first if you haven't already. I do have all my information, as I mentioned before, Twitter and Facebook, all that kind of stuff in the description down below. If you have any points or comments you want to bring out, let me know. I do apologize. I think I've kind of spoiled at least one or two things that aren't like really important, like it was an egg and stuff like that, and that the British guy is, kind of a little more than what he says. But I think, thankfully, I haven't like spoiled anything too major. I did have to point out the thing about the book, which I really feel bad about. I'm really sorry. I wish I had been able to go and see the and show you guys the book where it tells you the story of the old man, not the old man, but the egg. It kind of talks about how wherever this egg goes, it was used a lot and handed down throughout the Russian families and stuff, and people would end up getting murdered over this thing a lot. But anyway, that's all there is to say. Thanks again for dropping by, and as always, you all have a great rest of your day.